Hey everybody, it's Friday. No, it's Sunday. I missed Friday. My apologies. It's Sunday. I'm sitting in CoinMetro's offices. Good to be back. My name is Kevin Murcko. I'm CEO here at CoinMetro. I like to do this every week, usually on Fridays. Today on Sunday, ask me anything. You ask, I try and answer. Usually I have audio. Sometimes I don't. Hopefully now I do. So you ask a question and I'm going to answer it. Hopefully. Usually this takes about an hour. Sometimes it's a little shorter. Sometimes it's a bit longer. We'll see how it goes today on this beautiful Sunday in Talon. Sun is out. It's above zero, so that's a good day in Talon. So let's get jumping on these questions. Looks like Reba B2K came in first. It was a bit before we started, but we'll give it to him or her. Not too sure. Hey, Jens, any BizDev news? Yeah. Lots of BizDev news actually out of the UAE. So those who don't know, I was in Dubai last week, Saturday to Saturday. There was an AIBC conference. Those are the guys that usually run the big Maltese conference every year. Now they've branched out and gone to Asia, Middle East, etc. I was supposed to speak at an event of theirs in the Philippines back in 2020. That was canceled due to COVID, like everything else. But I did go to Dubai. I sat in a panel talking about the future of banking. It was fun. Actually got a really good contact out of that. I'll talk about that a bit later. But as far as BizDev, so sat down with one of our, met Musab. Everybody know Musab from Telegram. I actually met Musab. Word of the wise, if you go to the UAE and you're lucky enough to meet Musab in person, wear your running shoes. He's a really fast walker. And when I say fast, I mean, I had to jog to keep up. It was quite amazing, actually. I was trying to figure out the behind how fast he walks, but somehow the math didn't compute. But I met Musab from Musab from Telegram. I also sat down with another client of ours from the UAE who works in the president's office, I believe in Abu Dhabi, if I'm not mistaken, who introduced me to someone who I believe is going to help us put together a fiat on and off ramp for AED. Now that's pretty exciting because unbeknownst to me, XCM is pretty well known in the Emirates. In fact, I had 3 or 4 different people come up to me who didn't know each other at different times throughout the week, who asked me similar questions about what XCM was, saying that XCM was kind of the token that was going to lead the next banking kind of changes in banking across the crypto sphere, which was quite unique because I hadn't really heard that, at least put specifically that way. But 3 or 4 different people on different days came up to me that all were either living or working in or from the UAE, which was quite cool. Anyway, so first BizDev development there is that more than likely during the summer we'll be working with a company to get an AED on and off ramp with bank transfers inside the UAE. That's super cool. It's going to help us expand. It's just going to expand XCM and CoinMetro inside of the region. We may even look at opening up offices. That's going to be a little further out. But definitely have had a few clients and non-clients and possible investors pitch the idea of let's go ahead and put an office in the UAE. So that's pretty cool. Let me go on to the next question here. Hey, Kevin. Hey, Deep Philippe. We were all very curious to know how your Dubai trip was. I talked a little bit about it already, both on a BizDev level as well as other interesting things you'd like to share with us. I understand you met with a community member. So yeah, Deep Philippe, I did meet, like I said, with Musa. I met with a few community members, actually. Didn't know we had such a vibrant community in the UAE. What I would say is that the Emirates has really started to look at crypto. I mean, they've been progressive for some time with blockchain. The banking system is still a bit off limits to crypto. I think that's going to change, especially if I can get in one of those doors, one of those meetings, one of those closed meetings, and just, spit some knowledge inside of those meeting rooms. But I do think that's going to change. But what was really surprising to me is that CoinMetro and XCM, like I said, are already pretty well known in the UAE. That was surprising to me, considering that we never really targeted the UAE. We didn't really do any specific outreach. But I spoke to many investors that are looking to buy into XCM, that are already looking to fund accounts, want to buy into the token, potentially even invest in the company. And that was super interesting. Super interesting because I didn't go to this conference with any ideas in my head about any specific BizDev, about potentially opening an office in the UAE. None of that really was in my mind. When I go to a conference, I don't really have any specific goals. I found that if I have specific goals when I go to a conference, I want to do BizDev. I want to find investors. Never happens. something else usually happens. But what I want to accomplish in my mind doesn't happen. Here, I kind of went with an open mind, thinking, you know what? I just want to go to. I'm going to go to the UAE. I'm going to go to Dubai. I'm going to see if there's any interest. I'm going to do my panel. I'm going to answer questions, and we'll see what happens. And in fact, ran into just a lot of surprising things. So sat down with some community members. Absolutely, found out that there's already a small community buying XCM from the UAE, and that community is really wants to help us expand XCM in the UAE, and has already started doing it. And since I've been there, has already started to push even more on their own contacts. I had dinner with 4 very interesting people that I met through one of our community members. Also had a very impromptu meeting with a hotel developer who's based in Malta, and probably be flying out to Malta next week to talk a bit about how he can get involved in XCM, as well as potentially filling out our current private equity round that's been going on now for the past month and a half, 2 months. So really interesting. Actually, like I said, super surprised. I was super surprised at the amount of people that knew who CoinMetro was, knew who I was, and also how interested they were to help expand XCM or just the awareness of XCM in the region. Let's see, going on to the next question here. Are the sheikhs going to pump my XCM bags? I think that's a genuine possibility, to be quite honest. There is a lot of interest. I think because of this problem that still exists in the UAE, which has existed in other parts of the world, and still does exist in certain parts of the world, where banks are a bit standoffish when it comes to crypto. I think this whole idea of how CoinMetro is trying to become a very omnipresent platform, both in traditional and in this new alternative financial market, whether that be crypto, whether that be challenger banking, whether that be passive income, the fact that the UAE banks, Dubai specifically, still have issues with transacting with crypto businesses. I think that is what's really kind of putting a spotlight on CoinMetro inside of the UAE. It was a topic that was brought up multiple times at multiple meetings and multiple dinner meetings and multiple coffee meetings that I had throughout the week. And I think there is a major hole that we could fill in the UAE, and we have a lot of support to do it. And I think that's super amazing. So I think, yes, I think they may have already started to actually. Towards, I think over the next month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, I do expect to be back in Dubai. I do expect to be closing a few deals, both on the BizDev side, as I mentioned, with the fiat on and off ramp, potentially even looking at the possibility of opening offices in Dubai and working closely with some of our big supporters that we already have on the ground. Hope you had a nice trip to Dubai. Thank you, Jens. When is XCM staking coming more precise, and what would be the maximum amount of staking initially? Good question, Jens. When it comes to staking, as we said before, it's going to be Flux first. We launched that on Friday. Big pat on the back to product, to marketing, to support, to compliance, to legal, to everyone, even everybody, even HR. Thank you to everyone in the company that made that possible. We got that off and running on Friday. Now the next step is to get XCM staking going. As we said, that's going to be in the first 10 days or so of June. I think June 10th is pretty precise on when we expect to see that roll out. Right now, at least, that's what it looks like, and we'll see as we get closer if we're going to hit that deadline. I think we will. When it comes to how much XCM will be able to be staked, it's going to depend. As I said before, we're going to start out we're going to go the opposite of what most companies do. Most companies right now with staking will throw out a staking figure at you that sounds amazing, too good to be true, 30% a year, 20% a year, 18% a year, 32% a year, whatever. Because it is too good to be true, at least for the long haul. At some point, that number needs to be sustainable. And those numbers, like 30%, 20%, et cetera, in the long run aren't really sustainable. So for us, we're going to start with a very sustainable from treasury percentage. And that percentage is going to be on the low end of staking percentages, but still going to be pretty much what any bank would pay you, or what any traditional financial institution would pay you for a similar savings type account. The goal, however, is that as we make it sustainable, and that's going to be building it into our margin interface, building it into collateralized lending, etc. When we do that, we expect the percentage to actually increase. We don't want to decrease it, we want to increase it, and potentially twofold or more. So I would expect that we're going to start out somewhere between 2 and 5%, somewhere in that midst. And then the goal is to actually raise that once we go to full sustainability. That's going to be between probably 3 and 6 months. That's 3 and 9 months is kind of the window. I'm expecting somewhere within 3 to 6 months, 1 to 2 quarters after we launch staking, we expect to move from a full treasury model to a full sustainable model. There will be small baby steps in between where it'll go from full treasury to 80% treasury, 70% treasury, 50% treasury, 25% treasury, etc. And along the way, what I want to do, my goal is to make that rate as exciting and sexy as I possibly can, starting with this lower all treasury or full treasury based staking reward percentage or rate. But thanks for the question. It was a good one. Glad that I can answer it a bit more precisely. We're getting close, guys. We're getting close. Let's see. Bjorn, what is the next security listing and when will it launch? Good question. So there will be a listing launching tomorrow, actually, on Monday. And it's a company you guys all know and love, hopefully. Absolutely love. You know it, you love it. It's Ignium. Ignium is going to be launching. The initial idea was that Ignium was going to launch a private round. And it had commitments for about, I would say, 1/3 of that private round already in the bag. And then we said, well, you know what? Ignium's there to create markets so that individuals can come in and take part in primaries through platforms like CoinMetro, and also take part in secondary and for retail guys. So if we're gonna walk the walk, if we're gonna talk the talk, we might as well walk the walk. And so we converted it into what's going to be a public round. So there will be a public round for Ignium. It's going to start Monday. Roughly half of that public round has been pre-committed, which is super cool. There's lots of support for Ignium. It'll launch tomorrow, probably sometime towards the end of the business day, I believe. Once it's launched, it's going to last 30 days. I don't think it's going to make it to 30 days, to be honest, with the amount of pre-commitment we've seen and the amount of interest that's kind of come up in the last few weeks as we've been making lots of phone calls, myself and the CEO of Ignium, Remo Hammerberg, both of us being co-founders. We've been, putting we're using a lot of shoe leather, old school fundraising, lots of phone calls, lots of emails, etc. But very, very good reception. So Ignium will launch next week, tomorrow, on the securities marketplace. And we have a few other pretty cool projects, I think, that are also waiting in the wings. And we might see actually an old project come back to light. The first one actually that we ever did on the platform, which was Tangible. I think that one's going to take another swing in the next few weeks as well. So stand by for that. Thoughts on Hbar? I don't really have many thoughts on Hbar. I think that's Hedra, right? I think it's Hedra. Maybe I'm wrong. If it's not Hedra, then I'm totally going to have a completely wrong answer to your question. But I think there's a lot of enterprise level, or let's say businesses that are looking for enterprise level services, and things like Hedra, and as well as IBM's own solution, I think are probably where they're going to go first, because they're used to those type of interactions. They understand how enterprise level services work, and they know what to expect. As I said, there's going to be a protocol war. There's going to be lots of protocol wars, small little battles, I think, before the big war. Those battles are going to include enterprise. They're going to include finance. They're going to include even the medical industry. They're going to include the art industry. All types of different industries are going to have these little protocol wars to see who really becomes the leader in that particular industry. I think Hedra might be inside a few of those protocol wars. But over the next, I would say, 1 to 3 years, it's going to be very interesting to see which protocols come out on top. Sorry, guys. My new marketing guys asked me not to leave the question up when I'm answering it, which is cool because you can see more of my crazy beard while I'm answering the question. What's not cool about it is I keep missing my place and have to figure out where I am. Okay, here we go. Any info on the mystery listing? I think I just gave it away, so no more mystery. Ignium tomorrow, Monday, launching their own campaign on CoinMetro's primary marketplace on our Invest platform. I heard you met someone with Pakistan. I guess I met someone from Pakistan. I actually met a few people from Pakistan based in Dubai. I would say 3 or 4 people. BizDev specifically from that, not quite yet, but potentially. But definitely some support for XCM and potentially other things. I think there's a really good relationship that's sparked there, both on a personal level and a business level. We're gonna have to see where it goes. But as far as BizDev, not quite yet. But I think with every relationship, especially as we kind of move forward with any relationship, even personal ones for me, especially if somebody's in business, all businesses will be tokenized at some point, guys. I've said that a million times, and that means that BizDev is wide open. But definitely the one BizDev thing that I think I would, like I said, really promote, or really want to talk about and have talked about, is the fact of this AED on and off ramp. The fact that we already have a presence there, and there's already people talking about us. Our ability to be able to offer them localized deposits, I think, will be a game changer for the region. It's something that I'm going to be focused on for the next couple of months to try to get it launched this summer. I actually made it to one of these things. What up, my boy Murcko? Hey man, nice to have you here. Glad you made it. Maybe next time you might want to ask a question. Just saying. Moving on. When do you think institutional money will enter crypto markets? 2023. Hey, Alex the Lion. So institutional money has been in the crypto markets for some time. I used to joke, well, not joke. I used to say, and I still say, that the vast majority of money inside of crypto is in fact retail. That's still the case. And that's probably going to be the case for a long time. Long time in crypto might be a year, it might be 10 years, but a relatively long time. The reason for that is that it's a very hype-driven market, and hype means emotion. And institutions don't generally trade on emotion, though institutions do FOMO. They do, because they're run by people, and people FOMO. But for the most part, the guys who FOMO, fear of missing out, really need to jump into something, say, oh, I'm never going to invest in that. Then it goes up 2, 3, 4, 5x. Their buddy says they invested, the other, so their neighbor says they invested, their butcher, their baker, their candlestick maker, they're all investing. They're like, oh my God, I'm going to miss the boat. Oh my God, what should I do? They invest. That's a retail crowd. And because the market is still very much hype driven, there's lots of retail money that flows in and out of this market. Though retail money gets scared when they see things like happened last week. Or the week before last with some capitulation and some leverage blowouts. However, institutional money is now coming in at a faster clip than it did before. Why? Well, you have large economies, most so the US, printing money. There's a new plan, I think, on Biden's desk, or Biden's drafting a new plan, or the Democrats. Well, he's not drafting anything, obviously. But somebody's drafting a plan with a $6 trillion budget. And that's what, number 4, 5, 6 of these nice $1 trillion budget ideas. Not just budget. And that's not a budget, actually. It's spending. It's not a budget. It's just more spending on top of more spending, on top of more spending, more printing. And I think institutions are getting worried that obviously their mega deposits on their balance sheet, their treasury, is just going to become, worthless. And they want to be able to put their money into something that may actually hold its value. And Bitcoin's becoming one of the main off-ramps from US dollar currency in the US. And that's happening not only in the US, but also in other countries around the world. And that's bringing in more institutional money. When institutions, and institutional money doesn't, for me, to be honest, the real definition of institutional money is big money. And that's pension funds, that's endowments, that's institutional money. What we're seeing now is, I would say, corporate money. Large scale corporate money, not necessarily institutional money, but there are institutions that are coming in. There are institutions that are opening the gates for their clients. They're allowing their clients to take a taste of the risk. And if their clients like the risk and begin to taste more of that risk and go in from just putting their toe in the water to the whole foot, their leg, up to the waist, over the head, then that's going to mean that those institutions that are opening those doors, like Fidelity, like JP Morgan, like all these other big boys, they're going to start putting their toes in the water as well. And obviously, JP Morgan's toe figuratively speaking, is much, much bigger than your average investor's toe. We're talking many multipliers bigger. So institutional money is already here. It's going to continue to flow in. Institutional money doesn't get spooked like retail money does. In fact, they were probably buying into this leveraged capitulation that we saw, not the last Wednesday, but the Wednesday before. And, retail was running, retail was scared. When you look really at what happened, nobody was really selling Bitcoin. The vast majority were just leveraged longs getting knocked out. Now, why are there so many leveraged longs? Retails don't understand what leverage is. They don't understand how to use it. It's credit, and credit, any type of credit, whether you have a credit card, a home loan, a blah, 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 whatever, any type of credit you have, if credit's used wisely, it's a tool. If you don't know how to use credit, well, you get wrecked, basically. So moving on, Bjorn again, let's see what he's got. 10x leverage has been talked about for a while now. When is it coming? It's coming. Now, what I'd like to do, we're going through a revamp of margin. We're going to be retooling our margin platform, our exchange platform. The new copy trading is coming out, which is going to be phenomenal. Definitely needed a change there. I'm all for, look, as a business, we make money on margin. Absolutely. Now, we don't charge liquidation fees like our competitors. I'm not going to mention any names, but we don't do that because I feel that that's just super disingenuous. We don't take the rest of your money when you get stopped out. You get stopped out, well, the market might take the rest of your money, but we don't. We don't make money when you get stopped out. We don't want you to get stopped out. So I kind of sit on this imaginary fence of let's just offer more leverage and make more money versus clients getting wrecked. I don't like when clients lose money. I don't like when clients get wrecked. I've been there. I've done that. I got the t-shirt. In fact, I probably have 400 t-shirts that I'd rather have never had in the first place. So going through that trading journey is difficult, and I don't want anybody to have to go through that journey or pieces of that journey unnecessarily. Learning about the risks of margin kind of comes with the territory, but learning about it and then having it happen to you progressively after simply because you still don't fully understand how to use that credit is a terrible thing. So what I'd like to do is that before we really start to put the gas on increased amounts of risk, is to have a system that basically boxes in a trader. Your first week on the platform, your first 15 days, you're limited to 1 to 2. And then you're able to go to 1 to 5. Maybe we have a few questions after you go through 1 to 2, like what in this scenario, what would happen in this scenario? You answer those questions, you can move on to 1 to 5, 1 to 10, 1 to 25. But you need to understand how the risk works before you do that. I don't want to make it so that we, piss people off, that customers get upset, like, why do I have to do this? I don't have to do this anywhere else. But I think, it's the same, it kind of goes in the same line as operating as STP or straight through processing versus market making. And, taking the other side of your trade is not a bad thing. But what most traders fail to realize is that in times of lots of volatility, Wednesday before last, when brokers and exchanges just go offline, they're going offline because they probably took a lot of risk on their own book and they can't offset the risk, so they just go offline. We didn't go offline. Why didn't we go offline? Because we don't take risk on our book. And that's super important. That means that we're aligned with our own clients' goals. We want them to make money. We don't want them to lose. And we don't take risk when they lose or when they win. Thus, our goals, our goals are, we want you to trade more. And the only way you're going to trade more is if you do well. So I think those two things go hand in hand. And I left the question up here while I'm answering this one. Terrible, Kevin, terrible. I'm going to slap my wrist from the marketing guys. But 10X is coming. I just need to see, really in my mind, let it play out of exactly how we should roll that out. I want to roll it out in a way that I think is fair, just, and transparent, rather than just trying to make more money. And I know a lot of people have been waiting for it because they want to be able to trade more. And that's why we increased that, the amount of collateral you could use from 10 to 25K. For now, it does allow you to trade a bit more. Yes, the leverage is still the same, but we will be moving it. And I'd love to get some feedback actually in Telegram and the like. Maybe we should do a poll. If you listen, we should do a poll. Let's do a poll to see whether people would rather wait until we have these more controls so that people can understand how leverage works before they actually go full tilt, or if they just want it now, yesterday, now. It'd be interesting to see what everyone's saying. By the way, guys, fake CoinMetro is back at it again. Fake CoinMetro is back at it again. We're not doing any airdrops. We're not giving you 55 times the amount of Bitcoin you send us. Anytime you see that anywhere, whether it's under a fake CoinMetro ban, by the way, Facebook, if you're listening, hopefully you guys have some AI when you pick up the word Facebook, maybe Facebook sucks, you actually zoom in and maybe somebody's gonna listen to this. But there's lots of fake CoinMetros. They're here all the time. And while we're waiting for you guys to approve us to advertise as a regulated company, you let these guys who are stealing people's money do this all the time using our trademarked brand. Please fix that. Moving on. Yep. Okay. Let's see. Hey, Henrik, when will XCM be available for Traming? It's coming. Now, XCM available for Tram is a little bit of a two-edged sword. I'll tell you why. XCM obviously doesn't have market makers, right? Now, there may be some clients that act as market makers within the book, but we don't have any traditional market makers on XCM. When there are stop-out cascades in XCM, when there is volatility in XCM, and you're also using it on a Tram, especially for collateral, it can cause stop-outs inside of Tram as well, even if you're not trading XCM. And that can become even worse for those that are trading XCM because all it leads to is a bigger stop out cascade. So while we want to be able to add XCM as a trammable asset, as well as a collateral, that one you can use for collateral, you need to be aware that when we do that, it is increasing risk that the volatility in XCM could increase. And when it does increase, it can increase the amount of money being lost by people that are using it for collateral. Now, it is, I guess, a self-fulfilling prophecy. Until we do it, we're not going to help liquidity. But at the same time, when we do it for the initial phase, which could be a month, could be 2 months, could be 3 months, we may actually be adding to the volatility. So we want to make sure we do it, and the timing has to be right. But it's definitely something that we're looking to do. I think with the oncoming marketing push, the fact that we're growing and growing day in and day out, and every day we're getting new clients, and every day more people are being brought into the XCM ecosystem, the timing is going to be right very soon. I know everybody is getting tired. It got tired way back when. We haven't said soon that much anymore, so I'm going to say it today. Soon, very soon. It's something that we definitely want to do, but again, we need to do it in a way that it's not going to affect our client base in a bad way. Okay, some fake clients of the fake CoinMetro. Amazing. Let's see. Hold on. I just lost my place again. See, this is what happens when you can't. If I miss your question, by the way, just let me know. I actually missed a bunch, I think. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay. If it's possible, could you compare AllianceBlock and Quant? That's pretty good. So I think from a very high level, Quant is really, their main focus right now is interoperability between central banks. AllianceBlock is not necessarily focusing on central banks. They're focusing on interoperability between players, between infrastructure players, whether those be central banks or commercial banks or merchant banks or businesses or the like. They're also looking pretty broadly at tokenization of securities. And while Quant potentially would get there by default, being the interoperability layer of central banks, because once you do that, you can pretty much copy and paste that same system into all types of different markets, including capital markets. AllianceBlock is more focused on that aspect than they are about interoperability just for central banks. I think from a high level, that's pretty much the comparison you're looking for. Thank you for the reply on XCM staking and APY. Any thoughts on the max staking amount? It's going to depend on the interest, and based on the amount of interest, we will figure out, at least from a treasury standpoint, how much we're willing to pay in those 3 to 9 months max. So off the top of my head, if we're sitting around an average APY of, let's say, 3, just to put a number out there. I'm not saying that's the number, by the way. Don't everybody put words in my mouth. But let's just assume of 3. And let's assume 9 months. So actually, you're talking about roughly 2.7%, I guess, or what 9 months would be, what, 3 quarters. So you break 3 into a quarter, you got about 7 and 20, 2.8 maybe. Anyway, so whatever that percentage is, if it roughly would be, I would say, maybe we could probably go with the full circulating supply actually at that point. I think, close to it, maybe 200 million, something around that. I think we will probably be able to be pretty inclusive. But we might scale it down a bit. We have to see. It depends on really what the first reaction is. I would say the minimum is probably going to be around 100 million, more or less, off the top of my head. Again, those things can change. Tell us more about the 3 most interesting conversations you've had in Dubai. Hey, Scolby. 3 most interesting conversations. Okay, so had one conversation with a hotel developer, and we talked about tokenization of a new business that he's putting together. We also talked about the future of tokenization across all businesses, and really kind of agreed on the fact that whether it be hotels, airlines, supermarkets, tokenization of all these businesses with the ability to convert to cash through some type of ecosystem, like the CoinMetro app, for example, to be able to spend that money and hold that value and spend it where you see fit is amazing. We also talked a little bit about Ignium and how the Ignium secondary market, how it's going to work like e-commerce, and how people can go in and see the services and products offered by companies, but then also immediately show how much they support that company by buying into their equity. And those 2 things combined really, really kind of, I think, triggers both of us. Definitely been triggering me for a while, but definitely triggered the guy I was talking to. That was a super interesting conversation. It was a relatively short one, only about an hour and 15 minutes, though we sat down to talk for 15 minutes, and that rolled out to much longer. Both our wives are waiting for us, so we had to cut it short. I'll be traveling, I think, this weekend coming up, next weekend, to talk a bit more and potentially finalize something, maybe even on the equity side for Ignium and CoinMetro, but definitely moving the conversation forward, which I think is super cool. Also had conversations with this fiat on and off ramp. They are doing testing with some other crypto companies, crypto exchanges, but the rates that those crypto exchanges are charging are 2 times what the actual underlying rate is. So we would obviously charge pretty much exactly the same rate as we're charged. We do add a bit because we do have to make money. There are people processing these things, so we need to be able to generate some revenue. But our fees would be significantly lower than that of the competition, even through this initial beta phase. And with the amount of people that talked about XCM and CoinMetro to me, without me having to be the one that started the conversation, leads me to believe that putting an AED on and off ramp makes a lot of sense. I know there's people out there talking about CAD. Well, I need to go to Canada. So if you're sitting out there and you really want a Canadian on and off ramp, and you know who I should be talking to, or there's an event you think I should speak at, or there's simply somebody you think I should meet, let me know. And I'll be in North America for about 2 months, mid-June to mid-August. I'm going to be taking a few BizDev trips into the US, and I have no problem taking one into Canada. And if I can get a Canadian on and off ramp done at the same time as the AED, I'm ready to roll, everybody. I'm ready to do it. So those were those are ones, at least the initial ones that stick out in my mind. Definitely the dinner I had, just talking about crypto in general and seeing kind of how people really do resonate with what CoinMetro is doing, what our ethos and our values are. And I think that's super cool. The fact that we're rolling out with these passive income products, Sharia compliant products. For those who don't know, Sharia law basically says that you can't charge or receive interest. And what we did in FX years ago, and we were one of the first to do this, if not the first, we had Sharia compliant accounts, which simply meant that instead of paying a swap interest every day, you were charged an extra commission. But it allowed an entire region of the world to gain access to services and accounts that they never could have before because of restrictions on their religious laws. So, I think we're already pretty much Sharia compliant on our staking because it's not an interest, they are rewards, et cetera, et cetera. So there may be a little bit of tweaking there that needs to be done there, but I think it's a massive, absolutely massive, some massive potential there, and I'm definitely going to pursue it. So definitely there were other conversations, and if you're listening and we had conversations, man, I'm not trying to belittle our conversation. All I'm saying is that there was so much that happened during that week that I didn't really expect. It was quite amazing, actually. So hats off to everybody that was there. It was definitely a good event. A lot of quality people. Will the staking percentage be dynamic if we lock for a year and increases during lock period? Yes, it will be dynamic, similar to what you see with the Flux product that we currently have out. How far will the Flux ZelCore integration go? For example, non-custodial trading assets in my ZelCore wallet can be used. That's something that we talked about, having non-custodial trading between Zel Network or ZelCore and CoinMetro. It's definitely something we want to pursue, and we will pursue it. When we put together a partnership with a company we list, we want to have that partnership continue to grow over time. It's not about, we're going to do this and that's it, or we're going to focus on this product service and that's it. And then after that, you go your way, we go ours. We want to continually build that ecosystem. And so we start somewhere, because you have to start somewhere, but the goal is to continue to build and build and build over time and really create a super cohesive bond between the two companies. That's why we don't list everything and anything, because obviously we can't do that with every company. Now, in the future, we're not going to do this with every company. It will become impossible. But those that we choose to do it with have to share our values, have to share our ethos, have to share our future vision of what crypto and blockchain will be in finance. And then it's off to the races. Then it's all about how much we can integrate, how much we can make it a cohesive experience for all clients on both sides. Some more fake CoinMetro clients with the fake CoinMetro saying that they made a bunch of money for doing nothing. They didn't. I was just thinking when your guys' next video will be. It's a good one. We definitely want to make more videos. I think the making of the video we did for our bond was extremely fun. I think everybody had a great time doing it, and I'm definitely ready to do some more. Maybe the beard's going to be a bit weird. You guys notice it's starting to have a life of its own. So, if you could just buy XCM up to €1 real quick, I would really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. I would owe you guys. I would owe every single one of you. Every single one of you. Okay. Next question. Hey, Kev, how's the new app coming along? Pretty good. Pretty good. No. App is now in development mode. We're working toward, we have a deadline of the end of July. That's when we want to get the first version out and then progressively throw more and more versions out. In fact, we're even trying to get it out before that in an even more staged manner, rather than a V1, V2, V3, a V.2.8.1, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, etc. Working with both external developers as well as internal developers, looking to hire more internal developers, especially ones that are dedicated to mobile. But it's in the works and it's coming along, and I think the team behind it is going to really knock it out of the park. And it's definitely going to raise, our app's just going to be better. That's it. We're going to raise the bar is what I was trying to say. Usually on Fridays, Fridays usually it's long, you have long weeks. Then I come in here on Friday and sometimes I make a misstep or two and I go, well, it's Friday, what do you want? And it's Sunday though today, which is supposed to be like the day you don't do anything, right? Hang out with the family. And here I am talking about CoinMetro and XCM, which is something I love to do. And I'll do it on a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. It doesn't really matter. But I think there might be even more missteps on a Sunday. I don't know. Some more fake CoinMetro nonsense. Here we go. How is marketing coming along? Can we expect a big push? Absolutely. I think you can talk to Paul in Telegram. I don't know if Paul got did he get a new Telegram name for CoinMetro? It's a good question. I have no idea. But he's in Telegram. You can ask him. He's definitely working on some really cool stuff with the rest of our marketing team. And absolutely, you're going to see more and more. We're starting to, I don't know if you guys saw this little quick edited video they did about the energy problems on Bitcoin. This little rant I gave about you can be right regardless of what side of the fence you're on. That was actually really well put together. I mean, they actually made me sound, pretty competent and pretty knowledgeable, which, might be, I think it's difficult sometimes. But they did it. And I think the whole video looks really great. Got a lot of views. It's getting more and more views even than some of the full AMAs. So that stuff is just a start. That's kind of just a little test. I got a few tips from Paul about how I should redo a little bit this entire video experience. I'm going to start to do that. You're going to see more of me. I apologize. Over time, both with short videos, long videos, AMAs, may even go back to doing the news. As I get more and more out of operations, guys, it's all about BizDev and it's all about education for me. Those are going to be the two main things I'm going to focus on. Education, meaning I'm going to be talking more to you guys and gals, which I love to do. And I'm going to be doing a lot more BizDev, probably a lot more traveling, a lot more conferences, a lot more talking to people, and a lot more just getting stuff done. It's what I'm really good at. I can do the operational stuff. I'm okay. But that's not my thing. So moving on. Another fake CoinMetro. Okay, lots of fake CoinMetro here. I don't know what this one means, so I'm going to bring it up. Grace saying, CoinMetro, see my work. All right, Grace, well, I don't know what that means, but show your work, and I'll have a look. I don't know what you mean there. How far away is the nCase implementation? So reached out to Anatoly before I left for Dubai. Not sure there was ever any communication between their product guys and our product guys, but we will be one of the first to showcase nCase. I'm sure about that. So I'll be digging into that next week, hopefully next Friday, or this Friday, sorry. Or next Friday, I don't know. Some people's calendars are different. Mine starts on Sunday. I don't know about you guys. But I'll have some information on that next Friday, I believe. What's the difference between CoinMetro bonds and Ignium bonds? Which one should give greater value? Ignium is not going to be selling bonds. Ignium's going direct to equity, so they're not bonds. So CoinMetro sold a convertible bond. That means that you're going to get a fixed interest over the course or the term of the bond, which was 2 years, which was 8 to 12%, whether you were a new client with no XCM tier or whether you were an ICO investor. And that interest is paid every day based on that APY throughout 2 years. At the end of 2 years, you have the ability to either convert to equity or cash out to XCM at a fixed price of 20 euro cents per XCM. So completely different products. Ignium's product is direct to equity at its current valuation, which I would say is undervalued in many ways. I think, in the long run, somebody asked me this while I was in Dubai, actually, where I saw the most value, which company I thought could have a larger valuation. And I'm going to be super honest with you guys about this. So I expect CoinMetro to be a unicorn several times over. I think we have everything we need to do it. I see no reason why we shouldn't get there. However, Ignium is a bit different. Ignium is still an infrastructure play in many ways, and it's also a first in many ways. I think Ignium potentially over the course of the next few years has the ability to outpace in terms of valuation CoinMetro. I think it's well within the realms of possibility. Ignium is a company that's building an infrastructure layer for SME liquidity. Something that while others are trying through different avenues to do similar things, no one's really gotten there. And this whole e-commerce angle is super interesting. And I think it's going to resonate. I think, when you talk about millennials or younger, either millennial or younger, these guys and gals tend to invest in things that they feel are going to make a difference. They also like to put their money and support things that are green, that are helping the world, helping the community, helping to reduce poverty, bring equality, all these things. They like to invest emotionally. And to do that, it's much more different than investing in a normal stock market or even crypto, where you just pick something as you think it might go to the moon. Here, they need to get immersed in the product and brand. They may be customers first. They may become customers later. This whole e-commerce idea around that secondary market is an amazing one. It means that they can go in and buy products and services. They can go inside of a mall and see different products and services of different SMEs, and they can become shareholders of those SMEs with a few clicks. I think that's super cool, and I think over time that could be massive. I expect CoinMetro to be 100 times, 1,000, even 500 times bigger than it is now over the next 5 to 10 years. I think we may even surpass that. But I do think that it's possible that Ignium, at the end of the day, when we look back 10 years from now, might actually see a larger valuation than CoinMetro. But both, I think, will be super thriving businesses, still be working together on some really interesting and cool stuff, which at the end of the day really excites me more than all that valuation stuff. So hopefully that answered your question. I think I went a little bit off the rails there, but okay, more fake CoinMetro stuff. Wow, going through all this fake CoinMetro stuff is really, really exhausting. Are the Texans still supporting XCM? They must have bought lots at this point. They are, actually. They absolutely are, and they're gearing up for staking just like everybody else. They had a lot of money in crypto, so obviously they have a little less money than they did a week and a half ago now. But absolutely, they're still there, still supporting, and they're going to be supporting in many other ways. Actually, they do support in many ways that you may not see necessarily directly related to price, and they will continue to support us. They really are an absolute fantastic group of people, and they're there supporting us not only on price, but also on many other initiatives, some that I'm sure you will see come to light over time. CoinMetro equals happy future. I think that's mathematically correct, yes. Yeah. I don't have a calculator with me, but yeah, pretty much. Another fake CoinMetro, fake Jesus. Ridiculous. Can large bag holders of XCM buy into a tier 4 on rebates? It's a pretty good one, Wintermute. It's something that we've talked about internally. It's not available yet or now. You know, I don't know if it'll be a tier 4. Look, if you supported us during the ICO and you're still here, that means something. We don't necessarily want people to come in and just because they have a bit of money in their pocket, be able to get more entitlements than those guys, because those guys and gals have supported us since the beginning. But I do think we are going at some point to revamp a bit how our tiering structure works. And that's going to be part of staking, actually, because staking and tiers are going to be one in the same once staking is released. So pay attention as staking gets closer and closer. There's going to be a blog post. There's going to be all types of information you're going to be able to read about. But definitely there's going to be a change, and that might not be the initial change, but we have been thinking about how we could potentially create additional tiers and how exactly they would work. Inflation is going crazy. I wouldn't say crazy yet, but just look at commodity. Well, definitely with commodity lumber. Jesus, man, you seen lumber prices? Corn, soybeans, lumber, yep, et cetera. This is already being reflected in consumer pricing. The money printing is insane. Yeah, look, those are the first things that always see inflation, and those are the hardest to combat with inflation, because obviously commodities are something that are bought and sold every day in mass quantities. And the first thing you're going to see, you know, it's a trickle down effect. It starts at that main layer and then trickles down. So, you know, it trickles down to the grocery store, it trickles down to home prices, it trickles down to, and obviously salaries aren't trickling up. So lumber prices have seen, I mean, so have soy and corn, so have soybean and corn, but lumber prices have seen a massive increase. I mean, you know, a piece of plywood that used to cost you, you know, $20 in the US now costs you 80. It's crazy. When those things start trickling down, I mean, home prices obviously have already started to go up, but these are existing homes. Now, that plywood ain't cost 80 bucks, you know, and they're still going up. So new homes, that's going to be pretty difficult. I think that this housing market we see now with existing homes, where everybody's just rushing to buy a home because there's no homes to buy and the demand, that's not going to last forever. And new homes, that's going to be difficult, especially with everybody already buying pre-existing homes. The housing market's one of the biggest drivers of the economy. And since everybody's buying all those pre-existing homes, there's not going to be so many people in the market for new homes, and that's going to really hurt the economy. Probably starting over the next few quarters, all the way till, you know, who knows when. But absolutely, money printing is insane. Many people, I would say, haven't felt it yet, but they're going to feel it. And it's going to be felt across a wide swath of the population. To those who aren't so fortunate with their wealth, what would you say is the best financial advice to escape the rat race aside from owning XCM? Well, look, I think, was it Einstein that said compounding is like the seventh wonder or the eighth wonder of the world, wherever it was? Even if you make $1 million, if your job pays you $1 million a year, you're not going to get out of the rat race by getting paid a salary. You're going to get out of the rat race by investing and building wealth. You need to, you know, your goal should really be when in your 20s and 30s, going into your 40s even, to build multiple revenue streams, cash flow machines. You need something that can provide you cash flow that's passive. And, you know, the traditional markets are built on passive income. You know, debt fuels capital markets. Debt creates income for those that provide liquidity into debt pools. You'll see something very similar in DeFi, and you see it with collateralized lending, et cetera. You need to start somewhere, though. So you need to find businesses. You need to find investments that you can put away the money you have. You need to reduce your spending. You want to put away a certain percentage of your income. The younger you are, the more percentage of your income you should be saving. If you're 25 years old and you're on your Instagram posting about all the trips you've done, you're doing it the wrong way. If you're 50 posting about all the trips you've done, you're probably doing it the right way. During your 20s and 30s, you can take on a lot more. You can stress your body. You can do lots of things that you can't do when you get in your 30s and 40s and 50s. You can also make mistakes that if you make those in your 40s or 50s are going to be drastically change the way you're going to be able to live in your retirement years. So you need to save more. You need to put that money to work for you. And yes, crypto and passive income vehicles can be one source. Businesses can be another. Passive investments into businesses. You need to find something that can generate cash. I think, you know, maybe we should do a whole series about this type of stuff, not even just crypto related, because there's so many ways to generate income. And yes, you need money to make money, but you can generate money even with small investments. You just need to you just need to be willing to sacrifice a bit when you're younger and not take that extra trip, not buy that new car, not rent that nicer place and put that money to work for you, because that nicer place ain't going to do shit for you when you try to retire in 30 or 40 years, or hopefully less. Leave the questions up, please. Ignore marketing. I often listen to your AMA on a headset and sometimes miss the question and go back to the device to check what it was. Yeah, Samantha, that's why I used to leave them up, because I thought the same thing, but marketing likes to make snippets. So maybe we can come to, this is actually smaller than the old one. So maybe this one will be good for them. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the feedback is. But I agree with you. I agree with you, because I thought the same thing. Thanks, Joe. You're pretty neat yourself. Thanks for chiming in. Appreciate it. Last 3 listings, there were issues with deposits. Happened again yesterday with ALBT not being credited to account. Yeah, I know, not enough developers, but clearly how you test is wrong. Yep, I would agree with that. How we test is wrong. We don't have a group of testers. We have, 1 or 2. And unfortunately, they just can't test every single possible variable. Even on our automated tests, they haven't been able to test every variable. But that's part of the growing pains. That's part of growing up. That's part of pushing things out. I think the good thing is that we stand behind our word, that when there are issues, we fix and solve them. And our users aren't the ones that end up holding, the bag at the end of the day. I could mention a few exchanges that's not the case. Here, though, and I agree with you, absolutely, that needs to be changed, and it will. I can remember all the problems and all the speed bumps we've had over the last 3 or 4 years, and, we're here because we fixed them. It can be painful sometimes when you see the same thing. Yeah, by the way, this fake CoinMetro, I'm going to show you this. This is fake. Don't message this. Don't message this. CoinMetro will never ask you to send us a message. Don't send fake CoinMetro a message. They're a bunch of scam artists. They're pieces of shit using our brand. And Facebook generally doesn't care, which is crazy, because they should, because it shows just what Facebook is there for. Facebook doesn't care about you, doesn't care about your data, they just care about the money they make off your data. Thank you, Facebook. Moving on, Flux snapshots, first 1/15 supported by CM, or you have to take out our stake Flux. We're working on supporting them. So very soon, hopefully by the 5th, 6th, or 7th, at least 1 week before, we're going to let you guys know if we have the ability to do so. That is definitely something that's being talked about, has been talked about between the ZelCore guys and ourselves, and we're working on ways to support it. That is the goal. There will be more information coming. Hey, Kev, did you and Jobs at CM get my CV last Saturday? I definitely had a CV flow through, so I'm assuming Jobs got it as well. HR will take care of that. So Arena, if you're listening, check the Jobs email. I'm sure she already has. I'm sure she's already looking at it. You should get a response, hopefully sometime this week. Hey, Robin. Hey, Kevin, can you please wrap some Easy E? Easy E. Rest in peace. I've been waiting to ask since I heard about your rap background. Well, I'm not going to do it today, but at the €1 party, you got to attend, because I'll go through a whole list. We'll do some Easy E if you like. We might even do some Snoop Dogg, some Notorious. We might do some Tupac, maybe even do some Run DMC. Out of Fat Boys. How about the Fat Boys? Remember the Fat Boys? Jesus, I can't really beatbox, but somebody I'm sure will be able to beatbox. Maybe Oliver can beatbox. I don't know. I never really asked him. Oliver, can you beatbox? Anyway, definitely going to be on the list. Maybe for Halloween we can do a rap special. What do you think? I can dress up as a bunch of famous rappers. That would be funny. At least get us some hits. Maybe people will hate us afterwards. I don't know. Anyway. Hope Kevin gives me a shout out. Hey, Orbo and friends, there's your shout out. Thanks for being here. Really do appreciate you being here, because I have to be here. You don't. So that shows something. Can you put CM logo behind your head on an AMA like a halo? Right on. Cody, if you're listening, CM halo around my head. I assume to cover the baldness. It was a pretty good idea. I appreciate that. Hey, you skipped my YouTube chat. Did I? Sorry. Let's see. Did you post it again? I wish I got here in the beginning, but I'll be here forever. Appreciate that as well. Forever's a long time. It's a good commitment. I don't have a ring though. Where's the ring? Terrible. Any idea to when we'll see the market like it was back in April? Well, Speculation aside, which this is pretty speculative, I would say do I see that somebody post I see up here on the corner of my screen, well, over here, sorry. I got these notifications. Where am I? Right here. I see a face that's crying. Did I upset somebody's sensibilities today? What happened? Maybe they were crying about something else, but I'd really like to know why. If you post the crying face, please let me know why. Maybe it was the fake CoinMetro. Maybe that's who's crying. They should be crying, sons of bitches. Sorry about that. It's a family show, and sometimes, it's Sunday. Jesus. Any idea we'll see the market like it was in April? So back to this question. This market has shown that it's resilient. Though it's also shown that after some capitulation like we saw just recently, that retail gets a little scared. However, in the past, we had very little institutional money. Now we have a lot more. So it's going to be interesting. I think that through the summer, especially because in the summer, institutions don't have anything to do because all other markets are dead. FX usually dies out. Usually you have equities markets that are pretty slow. Crypto is not slow, and crypto's 24/7, 365, and it works in the summer. So I expect to see maybe even an influx of money into the crypto markets by institutions over the summer. We'll have to see, but I think coming out of the summer towards the last quarter of the year, we potentially could even see higher highs. I know I've seen some other people talking about stock to flow ratio. I'm not getting into that one right now because it's ridiculous to apply stock to flow to this market, but apply whatever you want. Indicators are great. They all lag, just learn how to read a chart. You don't need an indicator. What price kind of tells me right now is that we were in a distribution phase, obviously up toward the top. We saw capitulation. Now, the crazy thing about this market is that it's not the only market that does this. In fact, most markets do, but there's so much leverage trading in this market by retail that it offsets the actual underlying deliverable trading, which means that let's say uneducated retail leverage trading dictates a lot of the time where the market heads. Not a lot of people sold Bitcoin the Wednesday before last, everybody, or Ethereum or anything else, but they got leverage long stopped out. So I do think we're going to see a relatively quick recovery, though I expect for the next 15 to 40 to 60 days, somewhere in there, we're going to see some accumulation and a range probably from, I don't know, on Bitcoin side, under probably 37 to 40K, let's say, as a high, maybe in the range probably around 38, down to maybe 33, 32. Somewhere in there, that's where I think most accumulation is going to happen. And then we'll see how we break out of that accumulation. But I do feel that we're going to go and see, revisit those highs sometime in potentially sometime in 2021. Of course, that can change. This is crypto, so. Pls Cardano coming on the list, and we now have a plan to get things listed, which is a change from before. So definitely coming. I agree. Have a series for us. This is what people must hear. Passive income. All right, Liam. I'm gonna put it on my to-do list. We'll talk to marketing about it as well. How does one become as charismatic as yourself? I guess you could stare at a camera a few hours a week and talk to yourself, because that's essentially what I do here. I got to tell you, when I was a kid, I started a few plays in grammar school, and I was always really nervous, and I did it just because I had to, and I didn't really enjoy it all that much. I did a little debating when I was in high school. I kind of enjoyed that just from the argumentative side. I thought I was going to become a lawyer. That didn't happen. And I did a little bit of speaking here and there, but not much. And then come 2017 in crypto, I started to do a lot more. And even now, I can't say I get nervous, but there's this time before I'm going to speak where all these ideas are running through my head. And my whole goal is try to make it interesting. There are people that'll go up there and do really nice presentations with, all kinds of videos and images, and they'll talk about numbers, and there'll be a little pointer action going on. That's all great. But that stuff gets really boring. So I just try to take my own life experience, apply it to what I'm talking about in some way, shape, or form, and get people to listen because I try to make it interesting. I don't know if that makes me charismatic. Maybe it's years worth of sales. I used to be in sales. I sold a lot of stuff as a kid, everything really. I don't know. If it exists, I probably tried to sell it. And, to sell somebody something they don't need or don't want, you got to turn on the charm a little bit. So I don't know. I guess it comes like everything else in life. You just got to give it a go. Anybody can do what I do. Anybody can do what anybody does. Anybody can be successful. Anybody can break through their shell. Anybody can become a really charismatic person and do great things in life. You know, anybody can do anything. You really have to believe that because it's true. I've met so many people that as soon as I meet them, I think, yep, it's true. Anybody can do anything. And I'm sure you've met those people as well. So just don't let things hold you back. You want to do something, just do it. The only way you're going to fail is if you stop or you don't try. Just like the lottery says, right? You can't win if you don't play. Well, you can't reach a goal you want to reach if you don't try, and especially if you quit. Why not have the community help testing? We do, actually. Some of us have reached out over the past few months to help beta testing, but we haven't heard anything back. We do. We actually do have a group of beta testers, and we definitely would like to have more, but it needs management as well. So it's not just about, hey, guys, test this, and then we just get a bunch of feedback. That's not necessarily going to help. So it is about resources. We now have someone more dedicated to testing. I do expect over time that we're going to have a more, almost like a community source testing like you're describing here. It's something we've also talked about internally a lot. So it's coming. Fake CoinMetro, fake CoinMetro. This is the fake CoinMetro. Do not talk to these guys. They're fake. They're fake. They're trying to steal your money using our trademark name. They are unscrupulous, and they're also not that good at what they do. But don't talk to these guys, please. I'm going to take one or two more questions, and then we'll move on. By the way, again, CoinMetro is not communicating to anyone in this chat right now, wherever you are. It's not us. It's a fake CoinMetro. So Facebook, take notice, please. When you say you'll see CM500 bigger, what else is there that you are working on that has not been mentioned to us yet? Or what would you like to still get to doing with CoinMetro? There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that we haven't got to do yet, but that, you know, is coming. But, you know, we talk about everything with you guys. I think that's one of the great things about CoinMetro. I'm as open with you as I would be sitting in a board meeting at CoinMetro. I share everything. And sometimes that's why we got the soon moniker, because, you know, we share things that end up not happening. But I think, to me, that's valuable. Maybe to everybody it's not valuable. To me, it's valuable. Think about what we've built so far and all the things we're now building, which is passive income, challenger bank, neobank services, passive income in crypto, moving into with investment firm licensing and MTF-like capabilities to be able to list securities, derivatives, pushing more and more on the trading side, pushing more on the neobank side, providing cards, providing accounts, allowing third-party payments. We're really looking to become an all-inclusive, holistic financial ecosystem, which means whether you like crypto, don't like crypto, want to get involved in crypto, or don't, you still will be able to use our services and benefit from some of the great things that crypto allows, which is, you know, basically barrier-free access into financial services that otherwise, through things like DeFi or hybrid DeFi, et cetera, that otherwise just wouldn't be available to you through your normalized, you know, bank accounts or your standard bank accounts. So it's about building, and it's also about traction and growth. So even right now, we could be 20 times bigger than we are right now, easily. Look at Bitpanda. They are, by their valuation, about 20 times bigger than we are. They don't do anything really better than we do. They don't have any services that we really don't offer. They have a few small things here or there that they've built into some of their ecosystems that we haven't built in yet. But overall, we're very similar companies. And I would say on the customer support angle, which is super important, we crush Bitpanda. On the usability of the platform, we crush Bitpanda. We're just not as well known. So it's about growth and traction. So yeah, you will know everything we're going to do. We're not going to hide anything from you. You listen to these AMAs every week. You're going to get bits and tidbits and more tidbits. You look at our social media. You hang around in our Telegram. You're going to know everything we do before we do it. Now, KuCoin, who obviously listens to these AMAs and obviously is in our Telegram, likes to list things right before we do when we announce we're going to do it. They also, and if you notice, they've done it on a few assets already. And that gives me a bit of pause. Should we continue to be as open? And I thought about it this weekend. And yes, we should. I don't really care what KuCoin does. I know they're not as good as CoinMetro. I absolutely know that. I don't need to be told that. I don't even, I don't need to do research to figure that one out. We are simply better than they are. The point is, though, that more people know who KuCoin is than who we are. So on one note, that's marketing, that's awareness. They've done a bit better job. But time will tell, time will show, I should say, who the better company is. And I think we all know who that is. I don't have to say who it is. All right, guys, so I didn't get to all questions. I almost got to all questions. It was a great Sunday with you. I normally tell you guys at the end of a show, spend time with friends and family this weekend. The weekend's almost over. So if you have spent time with friends and family and you whispered into their ears sweet nothings like buy XCM, then very good on you. Appreciate it. If you haven't yet, dude, you only got a few more hours to get that done. Depending on where in your world, you may not have much time, or you already may be into Monday. So you may have to make a midnight or a 2 a.m. call to grandma, wake her up. She could probably use a little emotional start at night. Why not? Let her know that XCM is the cure-all for everything that may ail her. And jesting aside, guys, have a great rest of your weekend. Have a great week ahead. I will see you guys on Telegram. Tag me at Kevin Murcko. I'll see you on Twitter. Tweet me at Kevin Murcko. Ask me questions. Tell me how good my beard looks. Tell me how bad my beard looks. Tell me how I look less bald today and make my Sunday. Or tell me how I look even more bald and then I should just shave it off. I don't know. Tell me whatever you want to tell me. Have a great weekend. Rest of your weekend, I should say. And thank you so much for the support. I really do. I really, really, really do appreciate it. See you guys here on Friday, as always. Well, almost as always, except for today and some other days. Cheers, guys.